Good evening. Time being 6:30, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Unfortunately, the video feed is not working tonight, so it will just be by audio. So again, we apologize for that. First item on the agenda is the traditional territory acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and Métis people. Administration advises that there are no additions to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Okay, seeing none. Okay, next item on the agenda is the closed session portion of the meeting. May I have a mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Smith. Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. So rising from closed session, council approved the closed session minutes from the January 13th meeting. Council discussed proposed acquisition, disposition of lands and legal matters in closed session. We did not finish, so at the end of the meeting, we will be going into closed session. Just to let everybody know here, unfortunately, the video feed is not working tonight, so it's just the audio feed. Okay. Okay, tonight we have 4 applicants interested in the councillor vacancy seat here to they are here to briefly present to council why they should be chosen. Each candidate will have up to 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, to present their case to council. Afterwards, each councillor will be asked a question from council. Each council member, if they choose, will continue this process through with each candidate until we've heard from all 4. The order of the presentations will be randomly drawn by the CAO. The 4 applicants tonight are Christopher Eby, Joseph Hebert, James Legacy, and Maurice Thibodeau. I said those properly. Okay, do any members of council have any questions regarding the process? So last time when we did have a council vacancy, after we had gone into closed session, so to discuss the choices, we come out of closed session and then we do a public vote. So it's just because one of you would be a potential employee of the municipality, we just want to make sure that we're covering all our bases in closed session. Okay, so once everybody presents, we will go into closed session, or we'll have a motion moving forward. Okay, Mark. Yes. Well, we're going to go in. Well, after we go into closed session, you can wait out, and then we'll come back and do a public vote. Oh. Yep, and then the councillor will be chosen. Yep.
Okay, this is the order then for tonight. Joseph, you will be first. Chris, you're second. Looks like it's going down the James is third. You guys sat in the right chairs all the way down. And that leaves Maurice, you're fourth. So or you can come up and you could just press the red button there.
There's a talk button, and then the light will go red, and then you should be good.
There we go.
Great. Thank you for coming.
Hi. First of all, my name's Richard. Joseph was one of those names that I got stuck with when I found out my name wasn't Richard. No, I just one of those baptismal things a long time ago, and then they brought it into birth certificates. So, evening. So my name is Richard, and I've lived on and off in Northern Ontario for about 21 years of the last 33. So I'm not new to Northern Ontario in that regard. And I moved into Red Rock last August. I'm a mature professional with a broad educational background who can draw on a wealth of experience for insight and understanding into administrative, service provider, and regional development issues. I have over 18 years of experience as senior administration and over 2 decades working with predominantly Northern First Nation communities, grassroots groups, elders, and other individuals across Canada. In my current roles as a First Nation band administrator and as a chief executive in a small federal charity, and as of today also as a consultant for a group down in Toronto, I'm well versed in council procedures and including knowledge of Robert's rules. I actually have a copy of that. Not very many people do. I'm aware of boundaries between elected officials and administrative staff, which I've always found to be a problem in smaller communities where I've worked. I've engaged with committees, community organizations, community members, you know, both individually and in groups. I've presented in public forums, so I have no problem with that. And I do understand what it means to care for the needs of the community. A long time ago, when I say a long time ago, I probably stopped about 15 years ago, I was a veterinarian in a remote region of Canada. And so being the only veterinarian working 24/7 for about 12 years, which did burn me out, by the way, you learn what community needs are and how important it is to be there when somebody needs you when you're in one of those services. So I'm applying for the counselor position because I very much like this community. I was literally stuck living here. Forgive me for admitting that, but I'm working in Rocky Bay and literally it was like, okay, you have to start in 2 weeks. I'm going 2 weeks. How do you find a place to live that quickly? And so the place that I could find to live was here in Red Rock. I was a little upset with how far it was, but I liked the house and I liked the town. Now I love the house and I love the town. My son now lives with me, so we've kind of broadened out in that respect. And yeah, I really do have a strong desire to contribute to the community. Obviously, I'm not going to be go and coach soccer with a knee that doesn't work as well as it could be, but I can definitely help in regards to community issues and challenges that approach. I submitted a statement of qualification. I submitted that to ensure that you guys had some way of focusing because it wasn't a resume or anything else that was required, but it gives you some idea of what my background and areas are. But rather than reiterating everything that's on there, which I can do very easily, by the way, just want to point that out, I'll stop here and answer questions that you may have. Thanks.
Thank you for that. And thank you again for putting your name forward. Council, is there any questions? Richard? Councillor Smith?
How's it going? Nice to meet you.
Hi.
I have one question. As counselors, we make decisions sometimes that are not popular. And at times we may get blasted. How do you take that kind of criticism, and would that cause you to go, rethink the position, rethink about being here?
Well, I could probably ask Mark as a CAO what it's like to take the heat for things when it has to deal with HR. So understand that I have a bullseye on my back working in the First Nation community. Being the band manager, I have a double bullseye. And so literally anything that goes wrong or doesn't go wrong is my fault regardless. And so I'm used to having that. Having worked as a solo practitioner for 12 years in a remote region, I was also used to being trounced for fees or for availability, or regardless of how fair or how right things were working, there was always somebody who had this perception, this chip on their shoulder. when they came in. And the bottom line is that that goes with the territory. And it's something you either can do or you can't. And it's something I've been able to do in all the different professions that I've had over the last 20, 30 years.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Councillor Brand?
Do you feel it's important to involve our community members in the decision-making process? And
Well, council is here to serve needs of the community. Now, clearly not every community member can be involved in everything, which is why there's council. But obviously, council here is to serve that. So if there's no discussion, there's no inclusion in decision-making, then it becomes an elitist group and things fall apart pretty quickly. And well, it's what they call a clique, isn't it? So yes, I do believe that you have to work with the community, and having worked in First Nation communities for like 20 years, like it's fundamental. Nobody even starts thinking about something until you go down to a coffee shop or the corner store and start talking about things. That's before you even get to the point where you call a meeting to chat about things. So yes.
Any other questions? I don't have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
There we go. Thank you so much for the opportunity to sit with you. Red Rock is really important to my family. We go back the 3 generations, back to the 1930s. When my grandpa and grandma moved here to build the initial mill and to build the housing that went along with it. Grandpa was a master carpenter. Then my parents moved here in the 40s. Dad was a station engineer. So he was working at, they had a, tell me the stories of the 5-mile walk into town because their place was at Little Trout Creek. And my oldest sister and my oldest brother were born, not in Red Rock, because mom had to take the train into Port Arthur General Hospital, but they were both born here. And then my sister moved back here 20 years ago. She's going on 21 years now. That's Lynn Hatfield and Bob Hatfield. And I came here about 1.5 years ago because we had some family needs. And also it was an opportunity to have a chapter here with my family. So Red Rock is meaningful to me. And I think Red Rock has also captured me because it is full of the values and the priorities that resonate with me. I get to go to the rec center and skate and play hockey with teenagers. You know how cool that is? I get to shovel off the beaver pond and take my sweetheart for a skate at night underneath the stars. Where in the world do you get to do that? Red Rock is a gem. So for me, any communities I've lived in, I wanted to invest in because part of being in the community is being committed to the community. And there's a lot of that in this community, which is really wonderful. I had a chance to meet with each of you. Turkeys, we didn't get a chance, but it was really important to me because you only have so much life's energy, right? It goes by so quick. And I speak that as a dad and as a grandpa now. So when I'm going to invest in something, and you've got my package, and I amended it because I thought I'd go over the limit of 1 page. There's only so much time and energy. So for me, I want to make sure I'm investing it well because this goes by so quick. And so you graciously letting me have time with you gave me insights into you as a team, into you as people, and into the priorities of the leadership team. So Mark, when I sat with you, with your municipal experience and all the other experience you have, what I heard the focus was on the governance versus operations, that respectful dance that's complementary and not conflictual. For me, I've been both an executive director and I've been on boards, recreation boards, volunteer boards, other boards. So I get the difference. If we do our job well in governance, if we create the map to lead the operations and trust you and support you, and make sure that we are connecting with the community so we're hearing them, we really do work in tandem very well. Cindy, you being a longtime resident here, what I heard you talk about was a priority of relationships. For you, it's not just your family, it's your community. And so for you, it was transparency and openness. And as well, it was a council culture that is one of openness and the ability to say, hey, I see it different. And it's that willingness to understand and then be understood. That really resonated with me. And I appreciated the fact that culture of how we are as leaders is as important as our effectiveness as leaders. Because if we aren't able to there's nothing worse than you go to a meeting and we all say yes, because it means we haven't really dug into it. But if we go, hey, like, you see things different than me because this, I'm that, you're this, you're that. Also, I've been talking to the community or they've been talking to me. It gives us that fullness of perspective so that people feel that we've really wrestled with things, because we have challenges in our community and we have opportunities, but we need to be authentic in how we process and be open so that people have a chance to feel that they've been heard. And not just heard, but their expertise and knowledge has been incorporated. I appreciate that. Gordon, I get to play hockey with you and Henry. That was so cool. What a northern way to visit, eh? Go play hockey. But what that illustrated to me was, for you, the priority is family. And it's making sure that we're not just looking after the needs of our generation, but our kids and our grandkids. And yeah, as a grandpa, I think about that, right? We plant trees, we don't just plant flowers because we're thinking on. So when we're considering businesses coming into town, when we're considering where we're investing and how we're prioritizing, it's not just about today and what's new and shiny. It's about how do we make it so that our kids don't have to leave, so our grandkids can stay and have fulsome experiences. You may see me on social media. For me, it's a big thing because it's about celebrating all the good things. Last winter, up in the morning on a Saturday, and I hear a snow machine, and I look out the window with my cup of coffee, and it's an 8-year-old, I think, driving the snow machine down the sidewalk, right? And there was the dad right beside with the kill switch on his arm. And he was creating an opportunity you can't get anywhere else, where he was teaching his child, I couldn't tell if it was a boy or girl because with all the stuff on, right? But he was teaching his child part of the culture of what it means to live in the North, how to use a tool efficiently, and how to do so with the support of the community. Because nobody was complaining about the noise. Nobody was complaining about rules. We were honoring a parent's engagement with their kid. So Red Rock gives that. And that really is important to me. You're Mr. Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So when I listen to you and the way you make things happen with respect to technology, I heard from you the need to make sure that we're responsive, that we're innovative, that we turn Red Rock not into a drive-through you come by to get a cinnamon roll or have something at the Red Rock Inn, but it's a destination where people are coming for a few days to go to a fishing charter, to learn about our culture, both Indigenous and mainstream. An opportunity for us to get people to view this as a stopping place. And there's different ways we do that. So yeah, fixing roads, making sure our water system and our treatment plant are all going well, crucial. You know, I heard that from you for sure, Cindy. To complement that, we want to make sure that there's things that bring people here that are enticing, that you don't get elsewhere, and that celebrate our heritage. And if we can partner up with our Red Rock Indian Band, and because I've seen that when I lived up in Moosonee for 5 years, the Cree and the Métis partnered up, and we were able to create a hotel, cultural center that gave people not just an intellectual awareness of different cultures and perspectives and spiritualities, but an experience of it. What can we do here? So, I mean, I've looked at the strat plan, I've looked at the SAGE report. You're doing really important work as far as environmental scans, looking at efficiencies, looking at how we can move forward in ways that are reasonable, because we have to make sure the lights are on. We have to make sure we're being good stewards. So I hear the key 3 roles of counselor: representative and being a steward. And I think that would be something that, with my experience in education, I would humbly say, hey, I'd love to do it. And it's a matter of, with the time you spent with me, would I be a good fit? With respect to you, Darkis, I haven't met you, but I've heard a lot about you. And you're a first responder. And I've been a first responder for over 30 years. And I've also worked alongside first responders doing critical incident stress debriefing. And you walk towards challenges. And that's what I've heard about your leadership style. And I really value that. With what I've done in life, I've always walked towards things through my child welfare, through my victim services, through the different roles that I've had, but then also through the volunteering I've done. A lot of the boards I've been involved with have been to bring a withdrawal management program, to enhance community living, to all these different things have been to be multifaceted in what I give back to the community and what I love to be involved with. Because when I sit with somebody, I'm learning from them. So it's not just giving to the community, but I know that if I get a chance to be part of your council, working alongside you and having different conversations with the community, I learn a lot. Don't mean to talk your ear off. I know you guys want to talk. So I'll stop.
Yeah. I don't want to say anyone to perceive that there's any favorites or,
I apologize.
somebody has more time. Council, are there any questions? Councillor Smith?
You do have that reputation. What do you believe are the most pressing issues facing Red Rock, and how would you contribute to addressing those challenges?
So, I mean, you have it well laid out, Ian, but the one that jumps out obviously is the financial sustainability and the economic diversity. We have somebody courting us now, you know, and it was good that you folks coordinated a town hall meeting. I think what I was encouraged by is that different businesses, different organizations are considering us as they should. I mean, we have our highway, we have a railroad, we have our waterways, so we are positioned close to airports. We have a lot to offer. We're not coming as beggars, we're coming as people with great resources and a community of a good workforce. The challenge that I saw with that was there wasn't as much of a forthrightness in what they presented to us. And I didn't want to embarrass anybody when we're at the meeting, but I talked to them afterwards, but hey, like, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention the risks with respect to the tailings that would be in our community and the sister community. So I think looking at how we can diversify our economy, we can provide sustainability for our generation and the ones that follow, and also provide opportunities for that quality of life to not be compromised here would be our most highest priority. What we have here is a gem. You don't get this. You can't manufacture this. We're blessed to live here. We have to be good stewards of it for generations to come. But we do need to have people making livings so they can live here. And I think that would be a priority. And I see it in what you're doing. You're spending your money well in infrastructure to making sure that people's roads are paved, the water is safe. And the people who come to us have to have the same values and not just be looking at how long they can stay here based upon the stock market.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. No. Seeing none.
Thanks so much, folks.
Thank you very much. Welcome, James or Jimmy.
Yeah, we do it. Good. Oh, mine's a little shorter. Good evening for all the new residents of Red Rock. My name is James Legacy, and I've been running for position on the Red Rock Municipal Council. I have made this community my home since 1985. I've witnessed the lows of Red Rock, and I've witnessed the highs. My working career consists of Domtar and Rampak pulp and paper mills in Red Rock, which closed in 2006. I then joined the University of Northern Colleges as a teacher instructor. I've also worked at Sands Gold and North American Palladium Mines, where I worked as a supervisor capacity in planning and training with some water treatment training as well on site. So let's talk about volunteering in a small town. Presently, I am the chairman of the St. Hilary's Parish. I'm also the chairman of the Red Rock Golden Club, which supplies a senior van for all 4 towns. I am also a driver for this van 1 week per month. The Golden Club includes a membership of 80+ members. I was also a grand knight for many years for the Knights of Columbus for Red Rock and Nipigon. A volunteer at the thrift store in Nipigon, which supports our St. Hilary's Parish. Clubs that I support in Red Rock are the Historical Society, the Red Rock Legion, and the Fish and Game Club. I would like to share my ideas that I think would definitely benefit Red Rock. As an advocate for the seniors, I see the need for a new seniors building with 12 to 15 units, with a large meeting room for social functions. Mountain View Court has no vacancy at this moment and a very long waiting list. Doug Ford has promised $1.8 billion for new housing in Ontario, which we could definitely take advantage of for a project like this. Another site I am looking at is the old tennis courts that stand in disarray. I would like to get funding for 3 pickleball courts. This is one of the fastest growing sports in Canada, which is currently used by young and old. Most residents and visitors would definitely put it to good use. My current activities, I am working with Mark Figlamini and Lars Moffat, who are CEOs of Red Rock and Nipigon. Discussion is on a 3-way partnership with the Golden Club. We are in early stages of discussion, but this will definitely be a winning proposition for all parties. I have just recently been appointed as community representative for the OPP board for our area. I will be working with Nipigon, Red Rock, Dorian, and the Red Rock Indian Band board members. In closing, if I am to fill the councillor's position, I would definitely have an open mind to all policy matters. But my goal is not to put any more hardship on the taxpayers of Red Rock. That is one of the reasons why I'm running. The other is keeping an open dialogue with all our business owners and residents in our community. We cannot afford to lose any of them. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Yep.
Are there any questions? Councillor Smith?
Hi, James. How you doing?
Hi, I do, Mike.
So I'm gonna read, I had to write my questions out, sorry.
No, no problem.
So municipal council, we must kind of balance our transparency and the need for confidentiality on sensitive matters. How would you ensure you're being transparent and accountable to the public without compromising confidentiality on critical issues?
Well, first of all, everything that passes through the council comes through the CEO. And so when you take your oath for council, that's one part of the operations. As I've worked with 3 or 4 other organizations, we do have the same celerity. We have a treasurer, we have the vice, everything. And we have a setup meeting before we have ours. And we talk about what we're going to talk about. So we're all on the same page. And most of us will sit down and we'll have agreement on what we're going to talk about. So nobody goes ahead of what's going to be happening. As being a supervisor and also teaching instruction, you have to watch what you say. Like we took courses on how to handle people not being in a room and everything else like that. They're just courses that we take. And as I'm doing the police board right now, it's a matter of privacy also. And it's like, I got to do about 8 hours of time on the computer to fully get recognized as the representative for this area. Yep.
Any questions?
No.
Nope. Thank you very much. Maurice? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We're good. Okay. I thought I'd break down. Thank you for having me here this evening. My name is Maurice Thibotot. I'm I guess it'd be almost 2.5 year resident of Red Rock. I absolutely love it here. I was actually born in Nipigon many years ago. I lived in Thunder Bay, grew up and was raised in Thunder Bay. However, things being what they are, I made it back to this area, which, you know, I can't be happier. Can't say enough about it. I thought I'd break this down a little bit. My credentials, first and foremost, I'm a parent. My kids are grown and gone now, but I still understand the challenges of what it is to be a parent in today's economy. Number 2, I am a journeyman carpenter. I was a member of the local union for 20 some years. I traveled extensively all over Canada, working. Met a lot of great people. My education, I have a Bachelor of Arts, a major political studies from Lakehead University from the 90s, and I also have a Bachelor of Education from University of Toronto. I'm a certified Ontario College of Teachers teacher, grades 9 to 12. I currently work at Lake Superior High School in Terrace Bay as the shop teacher. Oh, I can actually see now without my glasses. Fantastic. As the shop teacher, I've been there almost 10 years now. Fantastic. I periodically work with Gord here on council. He sends me lovely emails and stuff sometimes. I'm also, and probably one of the, second thing, I'm an avid outdoorsman. I hunt, fish in the area. I spend a lot of time on the big lake. Probably is not as successful as I'd like to be. Maybe that's something I could touch on in a minute. But most importantly, though, one of the biggest things I'm proud of, I'm a status Indian. My home res is the Pickmobert First Nations band. I try to get there as often as I can. Sadly, I can't, but it's just it's one of those things that there's only so many hours in the day. Okay, so why I feel I'm a good candidate for this job. I'm a good communicator. As an educator, I'm well versed in the fine art of being an effective communicator in front of a group of people. I feel I have the ability to take a complex problem and break it down digest the content and make an educated use of that information. Simply, I spend my day making high school kids, do things that, they don't necessarily want to do, like homework or whatnot, right? So in my education, it seems that I've been, in training to sit on council for quite a while. I did, like I mentioned earlier, take a political studies degree in the 90s. I do have some exposure to the various levels of government and the workings. I do not have the experience of actually sitting on council. This is why we're here today. Like I said, I also have a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Toronto. And I am also bilingual. I speak both official languages, although the second language, the French, is more of a Fringlish now because of my lack of use. I think probably one of my most important attributes are reasons that I want to be here is I'm not afraid to ask those unpopular questions. However, I'd like to think that in spite of asking those questions, that I'm somewhat diplomatic in my approach towards working with other people. I think that's probably one of my strengths. I do have some thoughts on where I'd like to see Red Rock go. I don't know if this is really the venue or the time to do this, but I do think that, simple things as far as boosting our economy in terms of our fishery. It seems that the Game and Hunt and Game Club, which I'm also now a part of, they're concerned about the stocking levels in Lake Superior. I'm thinking that would be a natural fit if we were to develop that fishery, and the spin-off from that would probably be quite good. Develop of the arena area, much like the pickleball that we were talking about, and it'd be nice to see a little bit more winter carnival kind of stuff. So other than that, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm hoping there's some relatively easy questions to answer.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Any questions? Councillor Smith?
Picking through mine.
No, okay,
You kind of already somewhat answered this question already, so
Okay.
it shouldn't be too hard.
sure.
So as counselors, we often have to make very difficult decisions
Mhm.
with limited time and information. As you can see, we have to
Mhm.
we learn about it and then we have to figure it out right away. So can you describe your approach to decision making in kind of like those high pressured situations?
Sure. I believe in getting all the facts correct. Number one, that's obviously the most important, breaking things down into groups or subcategories and then formulating a educated, logical answer from there. Kind of how I teach my kids to approach a math problem on the board or something to that extent. It's very sequential, very stepped. Okay. I hope that answered that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any other questions?
Nope.
There are none.
I'm off the hot seat. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Now moving forward, council has heard from each applicant, so we can discuss this.
Put a motion to go into camera at this time, if we could.
Okay. Do I have a mover and a seconder to go into closed session under the personal matters about an identifiable individual under the authorities? Closed session. Councillor Muir, and it was Councillor Brand. All in favor? Motion's carried. Time being 7:36. Welcome back. Thank you again, everybody, for applying and presenting your, how you feel about Red Rock and moving Red Rock forward. We have discussed the applicants, so we will begin the voting process. The successful candidate must have 3 votes by council. If we do not have a successful candidate after the vote, we will revote. I'm just explaining the process we're going to follow. Okay, if we still do not have a successful candidate after the second vote, we will then each vote for one person we want to move on to the third vote. If more than 2 candidates are selected, the candidates with the least amount of votes will be entered into a random draw by the CAO to move on. Council will then vote on the 2 remaining candidates. Okay, I will call the names in order of presentation. If so, please, council, yay after the applicant you wish to vote for. Are you calling them out or am I calling them out? Okay.
Richard Herbert, so there's no votes of council. Okay. Chris Eby, so at this point, Chris Eby has appointed the councillor on 3 votes. Right, so at this point, does council want to move forward or to the last vote, or it is, we'll go through, so James Legacy and Maurice Thibodeau. So on that vote with 3 votes of council, Chris Eby will be named the new councillor with the Township of Red Rock.
Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to fill the vacant councillor seat with Chris Eby for the remainder of the council term to be sworn in at the next council meeting? Councillor Muir, Councillor Smith, the cold hands. Eby? Chris. Okay, all in favor?
And Chris,
Sorry,
I
Cindy,
will get in,
What's your hand? I didn't see it. Thank you.
I will get in
Motion's carried.
contact with you tomorrow, and thanks to everyone.
Thank you, everyone, again. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, well, they all left pretty fast, so congratulations, Chris. And thank you for everybody who submitted their names. We said that earlier. We will see Chris, and he'll be sworn in at the next meeting. Okay, moving on, open session minutes. The last regular meeting, January 13th, are at items 5.1 of the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? Seeing none, may I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the minutes at items 5.1? Councillor Muir. Councillor Smith. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we have no resolutions from other communities. 6.2, information purposes only regarding an open house for the North Shore of Lake Superior Remedial Action Plan. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item? Seeing none.
Mayor Robinson.
Oh,
Just an update from Friday. I believe we received Friday. This meeting is canceled and will be rescheduled. So we've posted that on our social media, but we'll inform council when it is back on. I believe the reason was the upcoming election.
sounds good. Thank you for that. Item 6.3, information purposes only regarding the minutes of the Chambers meeting on December 20th, 2024. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item? Seeing none. 6.4, information purposes only relating to the minutes of the Thunder Bay DSAB meeting on December 19th, 2024. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item? I do see that they are using a lot of their different reserve funds to help on their budget as well. Okay, 6.5, discussion purposes only relating to the seniors banquet in Nipigon. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item? I am available to attend, so we will just follow the process of the senior of the year. For me? Ooh.
So we'll start that process then and bring that back to council. We'll review last or common practice and we'll bring that back. We have time, I believe that was April, right? So yeah. Okay.
May, end of May.
End of May, but the deadline was April, I think it said, right? Please, the deadline by April. Yeah. So we can get that process started, yes, but the event is in.
Okay, great, thank you. 6.6, information purposes only relating to the minutes from the Thunder Bay District Health Unit meeting on December 18th. Any members of council have any remarks? Okay, seeing none. 6.7 is information purposes only relating to the Roma delegation package from NOMA. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Okay, seeing none. 6.8, information purposes only relating to the strategic planning community listening tour from the Nipigon District Memorial Hospital. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item?
I guess just one question for council is does council want me to engage her to come to speak at one of our meetings related to this? It's like that was one of the questions or one of the requests was to speak at our quad council, but the timing isn't right. So she will come and present to Red Rock Town Council if we would like.
Would it be any different than what she presented last? Would it just be an update?
This is
or-
more the strategic plan that they're looking for their input on. So I mean, you could capture that at one of the community sessions. Or we could have her come in as a delegation, even if it's virtual for the start of a meeting for 5 or 10 minutes. That's she's willing to do that.
I think if we wait a couple months, once we get the new councillor in and after the election and all of those things might be best. Councillor Brand?
So talking about community engagement, so this will be, I'm assuming she may have something in Red Rock that community members in Red Rock could attend, correct?
Yeah, they're going to be setting that schedule very shortly, and they're planning those dates in the communities in the catchment area between January and March.
So then our community members would be able to
Yes.
attend. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I'll wait that out, but I'll leave it there. Okay.
Okay, item 6.9, information purposes only relating to the first quarter OMPF funding from the Ministry of Finance. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Okay, seeing none. Item 7.1, minutes from the Red Rock Public Library Board on November 12th. Do any members of council have any questions? Should have brought water. Seeing none, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the minutes? Councillor Brand, Councillor Meir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, item 8.1 is a report on administrative activities. Do members of council have any remarks or questions? Maybe you can just go through the.
Yeah, I can quickly go through for sure. Thank you very much. We'll start right at the discussion and update. So we've been able to reschedule Rock Tech Lithium to come into Red Rock at our April 7th meeting. So that has been confirmed at this time. The next three are just annual meetings coming up. So Thunder Bay District Municipal League. Again, if you wanted to attend that, just let Whitney know at the office and she'll make those arrangements, sorry. And then you've got your NOMA board annual conference following that, as well as then the AMO conference coming up in the summer. Budget schedule, we're still working through that. We'll bring that to council in the near future. The Thunder Bay District Social Service DSAB appointment for the township. We'll continue to discuss that based on having a full council next meeting. So they're looking to see who we're naming on that front. So we can I can at least update them tomorrow that we'll have this discussion next meeting. Red Rock Public Library Board resignation and recruitment. This process is in place right now. We're looking for a new member. Again, we thank Marilyn Young for her time on the board. But we'll have an update for council on that shortly. Red Rock Golden Club Seniors Van Discussion Partnership. Just to bring to councils, we've been approached by the Seniors Club to have potential discussions of ownership of the van between both communities. It's very early in discussions. We're looking at options, but the direction is required from council. If that's something, I think it's a little too early to stop those discussions until we have more information from to bring to council. But really, what their request is, they're having trouble with the financial portions of the van. On that front, there's many synergies that as two communities or even 3 or 4 that we serve could help with that. I mean, simple savings could even be insuring the van through a municipality. So say the Township of Red Rock was to take ownership of that van, we could fleet that van, for example, and there's ways to save. So we're having those discussions with them. We're also looking at potential funding options that could be available to a municipality based on transit. There is some options. The mayor and I had a really good discussion with the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility in Toronto. So I just wanted to bring that to council. If there was a, hey, no, stop this, then we'd stop it. But the direction right now is we're continuing to have discussions and we'll bring any information to council. Bruno's contracting. I did speak with Silvio. I just wanted to touch base with him. You know, as to his designs, his plans, he's still working on that. He told me that that the next step in the process is to continue cleaning the property this summer, and then there's more cleanup required just to put the whole plan together. So he'll be back here at some point once the snow melts, and he'll be continuing some work on that development. So that's that update. Emergency Management Ontario Emergency Preparedness Grant, another real success story. We applied again this year. Last year was the first phase. We were unsuccessful as a community. This year we applied. We were successful in gaining a $50,000 grant towards our fire department. So again, some good work by the entire team on this one, and it's very designed on what we can and spend the money on. But one of the major wins in this is we'll be able to purchase an automatic backup generator for the fire hall. So that's a big win and takes up a good chunk of the $50,000. We're also purchasing some new satellite radios along with accessories for those radios, and numerous other small capital projects. So again, another success story, and that's a $50,000 grant. So there's no municipal contribution to that. So again, good work. The upcoming bridge closure, so February 11th and 12th is the tentative times. We don't see that changing, but of course we'll keep the community abreast on that if it does. We're working with MTO, we're working with CP Rail. we're working with our residents and our businesses to make this a smoothless process. And that will obviously entail using the escape road for those 2 days. So, and then the last thing in my report is just the provincial election and, February 27th. So we're seeing a lot of things halted. A lot of things will slow down for a month here as this happens. But just that reminder that that election is coming. So that's it for my report, unless there's any questions.
Councillor Brand?
Just one quick one regarding the election. Where are we going to have this set up? Will this be in the rec center or the Legion?
So the province has already reached out to us with their location, their requested location, and their requested location is this building. So we're working with them today and potentially, I guess we're just waiting for a call back from them. But the province basically requests their location, and we facilitate that. So we have had discussions in the past with but with different locations. The province, this building is accessible. It's got the tables that they need, and this is really the only option they gave us.
Councillor Brand?
I just, do they realize that it's not always accessible to our seniors? There are seniors who walk or, people, and if the weather's not convenient, it's not always the easiest route to get here for people walking.
Yeah, and we have made that suggestion, or
Okay.
we've, at the direction, I believe it was yourself on council, made that request prior. And I may be speaking, but there's, I believe it's the federal government that would use the rec center. The province will use this building. I don't know why. It's their preferred building, and well, I do. It's the building, it's the layout, it's the tables, and they'll have the building for 4 days. There's two pre-polling times. 3 days. There's two pre-pollings. Sorry, three pre-polling dates, and then the election day. So we'll hopefully be able to, once we get that contract solidified. Again, the province sets the parameters on that. We can't even charge the province for that. It's in the act that the municipalities provide a location, and we can go after. We can assess any overtime hours, and we will do that if it takes, and it will take overtime hours of our staff. So we can recoup that. But the use of the building is township obligated to.
Councillor Muir?
Just two comments. It's good news for the $50,000 for the fire department there. Equipment that's definitely needed. With regard to Bruno's contracting, is there any way that we can get another update in person? It's been a couple of years now, and if they're coming back to clean up, it'd be nice to see that there's a plan in place to start working at it. Because I know, we've been going at that for a bit, so it'd be nice to get a firm commitment that we can see something getting built there.
Yeah, certainly. I can reach out to Silvio tomorrow and see if he'll come back and provide council an update in the near future. I can reach out to him tomorrow for sure.
Any other questions or comment on his report? Seeing none. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to receive the report? Councillor Brand, Councillor Smith, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next item 8.2 is a report on administrative representative seat on the NOMA board. Do any members of council have any questions? Mr. Mark, Councillor Muir?
No, I think definitely this is important to support. Mark has a lot of knowledge and experience, and this position is just a great position for you to be in. And to have Red Rock sending some with the person on the NOMA board, it's great for the town as well. So I'm in full support of this.
Also having somebody, just down at the Roma meetings, Mark was able to sit at the table with 5 other ministers. So this is a huge delegation with the Roma board or NOMA board. And, you know, we were able to sit in, which I've not done that before. So I thought it was a great opportunity and it was a great conversation. They ended up 40, you only get so much time. They lucked out. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, ended up being 45 minutes, I think. So it was great. But I think to have anyone from Red Rock to sit on the table is a benefit to all of us. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to support the submission of CAO Mark Figlamini as the administrative rep on the NOMA board for 2025-2027 term? Councillor Weir, Councillor Smith, all in favor?
And this, Mayor Robinson, this doesn't put me on the board, but it puts me into the election
Right.
if there is one at the Thunder Bay District Municipal League coming up. So, but in order for anyone to sit on that board, whether you're an elected official or an administrator, you need the resolution and approval of council. So that's what this is. This is giving me the approval that if I'm nominated or that I can accept a nomination.
Councillor Brand?
So there may be other names going forward for your.
There could be, yeah, there could be.
Okay.
There isn't at the moment, but there could be.
Great, thank you. Okay, item 8.3. Report on the 2024 CCBF eligible projects. Do any members of council have any questions? So CCBF, Canada Community Building Fund. That's what it was called, the federal gas tax. So maybe you want to just run through that, Mark, and
Yeah, I think I can. I mean, I don't know if you want me to run through each one individually or kind of as a whole, but what we're doing in a transparent way and is bringing council the transfers from our government set reserve funds. So we have three, being CCBF, being NORDS, and being OSIF. These are government set reserve funds that we receive a lump sum for annually to spend on these amounts. So what we're doing in this process and in full transparency is bringing them to council for approval by resolution to show what is being transferred from our reserves to our operating. So as you can see here in our CCBF fund, and we've listed, it's a detailed report by the finance manager. She'll show you exactly the amount to be transferred from that fund, and it'll also show you the projects that we invested or council invested through the budget process during that year. So you'll see CCBF funds for 2024 were $136,203.71. As a highlight to that, I thought I'd give you our updated amounts and totals in that fund. So as of January 30th, 2025, we still have $340,643.15 in that fund. So again, these are our documents that by resolution of council, we will pass in that manner. If we move on to OSIF, same thing, that's Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. You'll see that we transferred or used for our infrastructure projects $218,146.25 in 2024. So again, then those get transferred from our reserve funds, well, not our reserve funds, but our government allocated reserve funds, and into our general operating to pay those bills. Our updated balance as of January 30th, 2025 in the OSIF fund is $201,316.01. So that, again, that is that one. NORDS is the Northern Ontario Resource Development Fund. We're going into our last year of funding on this one. There is talk that it may be extended, but of course, we're halted by an election now, so we won't know that information for a while. But we see on this amount that $104,477.02 were used, and this whole fund is dedicated to one municipal structure, and that was determined by council 4 years ago, and that's the Trout Creek Bridge. So that's where we're spending that amount of money. That amount, again, the balance left in that account is $94.90. So I think what you're seeing from these amounts is we still have good, healthy balances in these accounts. We haven't been able to do a lot out of these investment accounts because of the fact that we were working ourselves through approximately $37 million worth of projects. So I think what you saw in 2024 is kind of a process where we're planning our infrastructure, and in 2025 we're going to lay out that plan in a budget process. And I think we've got a really good system moving forward, and working collectively very well with our staff and the staff that are managing the finance as well as the projects. So we're putting a plan together to invest in our infrastructure, and trying to use the government reserve funds to offset the tax base, right? So what we're requesting from council is just resolutions to make these transfers. It keeps it transparent. It allows the community to see what is going in and out of our funds, and any general reserve fund, if we did use one, is at the discretion of council anyway. So we're bringing these, as most municipalities will, we're bringing these by resolution as well. So it's an easy, transparent track to follow.
Okay. Oh, any questions? Councillor Mir?
This is fantastic because many years I've been going on about the finances and how they're organized, and this is beautiful end result. This is a beautiful end result, Mark. So yeah, I love the way this is laid out. It's perfect, it's transparent, and leaves no questions.
Well, it does show where where the money is going, out of what fund. People understand, hopefully they understand how we have to use these funds, the time limit to it, and all of that. You can only use it for specific projects as well. Right. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, so I'll go through the motions. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the submission of the following projects to the 2024 CCBF Reserve Fund in the total amounts of $136,203.71? Water treatment plant equipment rehab and upgrades, arena ice plant upgrades, asset management plan, recreation center energy efficiency improvements, recreation center user space enhancements, sidewalk improvements. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Councillor Muir, seconder. Councillor Smith. Oops. All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the submission of the following projects to the 2024 OCIF Reserve Fund and the total amount of $218,146.25? This is the Frost Street upgrade, continued bridge remediation, Bend 11, water plant infrastructure upgrades. Councillor Smith. Seconder. Councillor Muir. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the transfer from the Nords account to the general account for eligible expenses related to the Trout Creek Bridge remediation in the amount of $104,477.02? Councillor Muir. Councillor Smith. All in favor? Motion is carried. Next item, 8.6, is a report on the Stage 2 application to the NOHFC Community Enhancement Program. Do any members of council have any questions? It always feels like we're replacing the roof sections on that building, but it has been neglected for many years, but we're up to 7, right? That's what it says. 7 of the 12, so. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the application to the NOHFC for the Red Rock Recreation Center roof and replacement project in the amount of $199,238, including HST? Further, that the township confirms that commitment to cover its contribution towards the project in the amount of $22,138, which will come from the CCBF project allocation, which will cover any project overruns. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Councilor Muir. Councilor Smith. All in favor?
Can I just add something to that?
Sure.
Just for council and for the reason why, so this is a project that we spoke to, Mayor Robinson will remember this, from last week in Toronto, and we were given the stage 1 approval right away to beat the election, which was good timing. The reason, and the discussion is based around why we're doing it sometimes in segments that it seems, and why we're doing 4 sections this time is because on our NOHFC funding, how it works is if we do that one project, but we do it in smaller sections, we keep it under a certain threshold of 200 and some thousand, we're allowed to basically, we qualify for 90% government funding. And if we go above that, we only qualify for 75%. So because we've earmarked it as a project, we've had those discussions with Minister Rickford's office as well as the NOHFC, and we've laid out the detailed plan of our eventual completion. We're able to take advantage of the 90% funding for the township. So I think it's a big win that way when you can do it that way.
Sure, thank you for that explanation. I did plan on saying that and then I just, I forgot. Okay, next item, 8.7. Direction purpose relating to a report on a notice of hearing for a minor variance.
So again, this is for direction only. It's coming to council because as members of council, you are the owner of an abutting property being 39 Brompton. So there's an application for a minor variance on the property as known as 6 Baker. So this is a scheduled meeting to go to the Committee of Adjustment. So who will make that decision? But why it comes to council is because you're an owner of a property within there. So I will attend that meeting as your representative. I don't have an issue with it, but it comes to you. If you have any issues related to this request, then you would bring them to me, and then I would present them to the Committee of Adjustment on your behalf. But again, it's not a decision of council. It's a decision of the Committee of Adjustment. It's coming to you because you own property next to the property requested to have a minor variance.
Councilor Brand?
So it's very hard to tell on this map. Where would that property, our property be?
The arena, or the rec center.
Oh, it's the whole rec center.
Yeah. There's
So
a
how close?
there's a parameter that they use in the act, in the process, that any property owner within a certain span would receive this same kind of letter, and you're the owner of 39 Brompton as council.
Which
for
is the rec
township,
center.
Which is the rec center.
So where is that area that they're wanting a variance? Is that where the Zamboni comes out at the end?
No, it has nothing to do with 39 Brompton. It has
Oh.
to do with 6 Baker. So the variance they're applying for is between the current apartment building that is being renovated
Okay,
and what would be the garage, say the property
between.
next to it. So it's in between those two.
so it's in between those two, so it doesn't affect our property.
It does not,
Oh,
well,
okay.
no, it doesn't affect our property unless you think it does as an owner. And then that's where you would give me that information. But no, it doesn't. It's nowhere near, it's not directly related to 39 Brompton. We're only
So-
getting the notice because we're in
that
in
zone.
that area. yeah.
Okay, so it's not gonna encroach on our
No.
end of the arena where the Zamboni is. Okay,
No, just like anybody asking for a minor variance, you have to let your neighbors know, but there's a certain distance, right? All of that. So it's just that the recreation center is in that catchment area. Yep. Nope, go ahead.
Yes.
Yep.
It will go to any homes that are right there.
Yep. This just comes to us because we are the owners of the rec center. Councillor Mayor?
Well, I guess the only, I don't have a problem with this unless like a few of the properties have an issue with this, then if some homeowners are opposed to this, then I think then that's where,
So they have the same ability to attend, right? So they'll be invited to attend that meeting as well. The reason why it comes to you, like I said, is because I then attend the meeting as your representative, so I would speak, if you had an issue with it, then I would speak to that. But again, the decision is made by the Committee of Adjustment. It's outside of council even, right? So. But if there's no major concerns from council, then I would go to that meeting and say that there's no major concerns from the township of Red Rock as the abutting property owner.
Yeah, so that committee of adjustment meeting is February 18th, 10:30. It is open to the public, but also anybody who feels that they want to speak, they have to put their name forward and they can, speak for it or against it. Okay, thank you. Okay, item 8.7 is a summary report on the 2025 Roma Conference. What did I say? Oh, 8.8, sorry. Are there any questions or comments or Councillor Ramir?
that's a ton of delegation. So you knocked it out of the park there. So thank you for going and representing Red Rock for that. Because honestly, that's a lot of delegations. So good work. Very good work.
Yeah, it was very busy on Monday. 5 of them were Monday. They were all about an hour apart. So you get 15 minutes and then you have to go to your next meeting and you're always 15 minutes ahead. So you really, we were busy having to go between 2 buildings. Minister Cho, the seniors and accessibility, we did talk about the recreation center, looking to see if there's funding for upgrades to the senior center. Looking for a kitchen upgrade because if they want to cook and do anything like that, they need to actually have a proper dishwasher. So there's some issues with that. Also, like is there funding for a standalone facility and all that? So they gave us quite a few talking points on where to access money, but it's not really for anything that really we could use. We did talk about the seniors van and working with other communities, and that's what they suggested. So our 15 minutes was really promoting Red Rock and what we have and how we really can try and get some money. And we basically have to work with other communities on that. Minister of Mines also talking about the Georgia Lake project, BMI group, the property, Rock Tech, all of that. Minister of Infrastructure, same thing. Red Rock, right? We just want to position ourselves the best we can because we know that there's lots of, mining and all of that in the area. So Red Rock is a great location because you have the waterways, we have the highway, hopefully rail. Again, we need money for that bridge to make sure that any type of weight can get across. So again, all super productive meetings. Minister Jones, we were there actually advocating for EMS. We weren't complaining about really our services because that's not what they're there for. 15 to 20 years ago, EMS, you used to be able, they offered a program for distance education and through Contact North. So we said maybe that's an avenue you need to go back to. Either corporations or SNEMS is going to look at that, City of Thunder Bay or anybody else, but in the north, you have to look outside the box to try to offer these programs. Obviously, the City of Thunder Bay and all the district doesn't have money to throw at, relocating people, giving them bonuses, all of that kind of stuff, like the OPP and nursing and all that. So we were there actually trying to promote the City of Thunder Bay and Superior North EMS. So how that went, they took lots of notes. So that's all we could do there. And Minister Rickford, great discussion again. He's super supportive of Red Rock. He understands we need to bridge. He's just really on our side. he likes, he does enjoy, or not enjoy, but he likes discussing BMI and Rock Tech and the potential for what could happen in our area. And I'm not gonna try to pronounce that last name on the Tuesday meeting, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Again, when we sell a tax property, right, you could sell it for 20, it could be up for taxes for 10,000, but somebody bid 70. We only get to keep the $10,000. The rest of the money goes to the province, right, or goes to the. So we're just saying like there should be a way that we can recoup that money, or at least a percentage of it. That would be huge dollars for us. We gave them the numbers, like Red Rock over the last 3 or 4 years. It would have been $85,000 or $88,000 that we have been able to keep, and right, put into our general ledger. So anyways, they said that they have rules around that kind of stuff, but I mean, we're again one of 444 municipalities trying to state our case and fight for what Red Rock needs. And you do the best you can when you're down there. And again, you only have 15 minutes to get all that across. Any other questions on that? Gord, you've been to these meetings, so you know what it's like.
Yeah, and that's phenomenal work, and it is fast, and you have to get in there and you have to talk and you have to be clear and concise, and they have to remember you. And I think,
Yeah.
the more you're there and the more you hammer at them, the more they remember you.
They knew that one meeting I didn't even get the opportunity to introduce myself. They just weren't reading it. They're like, we know it's the bridge. We know this, we know that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, so we didn't even have to, so it was really good.
Well, and I think when you look at the fact that, 5 of the 6 delegations were actually secured with the minister as well. So, and no disrespect to the associate minister, but we got 5 meetings straight up with the minister themselves, which is another way to like Mayor Robinson says, you become known to the ministers, and you can save 5 minutes on your meeting because you don't have to go through the introductions either, right? So and again, you are running. It was a busy day. You're running between 2 locations, and you're 15 minutes early, and then you're meeting for 15, and then you're kind of between the Sheridan and the Hilton. But it was good. I found the meetings very productive. And I think we were well represented.
Yep.
Mayor Robinson did a fantastic job. And again, I think Red Rock has built ourselves to the state that we can take and request these meetings and get them. And I think we're getting heard, and I think that's a very positive thing for the community.
Okay, moving on. No bylaws, no new business. So on the agenda under unfinished business relating to the waterfront alcohol bylaw, bouldering wall and joint council. Any updates on that?
I think just to touch on each one, the waterfront alcohol bylaw, we're still looking at that. I've actually been speaking with legal on that. We are going to bring some kind of report back. We obviously through the winter months, it didn't seem to be deemed as a necessity, but we are looking. I was speaking on that today, so that will be coming. Joint council, again, if it's the will of council, I have been meeting with CAO Lars Moffat in Nipigon quite regularly. Again, our plan is to look at something in March to bring back. I'd like to bring some more discussion on that next meeting with some topics, but we have been discussing multiple joint services, quite I guess maybe or options of potential joint services. So those are things we'd like to bring back. I guess clearly stating that we're not talking amalgamation in any way. That's not part of the discussion, but anything we could do to save money collectively together, and then we'll bring those back to council. And March is our thought there. And then the bouldering wall, I have still been in contact with Denny on that. We're scheduled to have a look at the building hopefully one day this week. Again, with the direction of council, it is to follow that project. And I think as we transition from ice and bowling here in March moving through, I think it's a good transition period to maybe put that into place for in the off season. So we're working on that, and that's really, those are the updates there.
Okay, thank you. So since we didn't finish closed session, I need a motion to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda. Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir. All in favor? Motion's carried at 8:43. So rising from closed session, council discussed matters related to an identifiable individual. Okay, next item is the bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. May I have a mover and seconder to pass the bylaw? Councillor Muir, Councillor Smith. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, everyone. Next meeting will be held on February 18th, day after Family Day. So it's the Tuesday. Okay. Now being 9:01, no further business to attend to. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.